Title: Ambition Isn't for Everyone. When I first met Tom, I thought he was everything I wanted. Charming, funny, and he claimed to be supportive of my career. At least, that's how it seemed. Back then, I was rising fast in a top consulting firm, putting in long hours and moving up the ladder faster than anyone else. I had big plans to start my own company one day, something that would be mine. But as my career took off, Tom's admiration for my drive started to slip away, replaced by a quiet resentment. It started subtly, with comments disguised as jokes. "Wow, Lily, maybe you should just bring a sleeping bag to work." Or the one he loved to pull out at parties: "She's the CEO of Burning Herself Out, Inc." At first, I brushed it off. But then, one night, it hit a boiling point. I was running late for a date because I was closing a huge deal. When I finally met him at the restaurant, he barely looked at me. "Work again?" he said, his voice dripping with frustration. "You're always late because of work. Do you even care about us?" I sat down, keeping my cool. "Tom, this is a big moment for me. If this goes through, I'm one step closer to building the business I've always dreamed of." "Isn't that something to celebrate?" he sighed, shaking his head. "Maybe, but you're not the same. You're all about work now. It's like you don't even care about anything else." I bit my tongue. I wanted to tell him that I was doing all of this not just for me but for us, for the future. But something told me he didn't see it that way. And I was right. A few weeks later he ended things, said he couldn't keep playing second fiddle to my career, and just like that, Tom was gone. It hurt, but I knew that if he couldn't handle my ambition, he wasn't the one for me. I threw myself into work, climbed higher, and eventually, I took the plunge and launched my own consulting firm. It was hard, brutal at times, but within a few years I was leading a team of 50 and landing contracts I'd only dreamed about. Life was good. Until one day, a familiar name appeared on my desk: Tom Parker. He'd applied for a senior position in my company. I'll admit my first reaction was to laugh. After all his complaints about my ambition, after everything he'd said, here he was, asking me for a job. The irony was too perfect. But curiosity got the better of me, so I had HR schedule an interview. I needed to see for myself what had brought him to my door. On the day of the interview, Tom walked into my office, his face pale when he saw me. I leaned back in my chair, arms crossed, trying to hide my smirk. "Tom, long time no see." He cleared his throat, clearly uncomfortable. "Lily, I didn't realize this was your company." I let that hang in the air for a moment. "Surprise, have a seat." He sat down, shifting nervously. I waited, letting the silence stretch, enjoying watching him squirm. Finally he spoke up. "Look, I know things between us ended badly, but people change, right? I'm looking for something new, something stable." "Stable," I repeated, raising an eyebrow. "That's funny, because I remember you saying I should relax and stop chasing. What was it? Money and status?" He winced. I was wrong, okay? I didn't understand back then. But I get it now. I was hoping you'd give me a fair chance. I have a lot of experience. I can help you." "Help me?" I couldn't help but chuckle. "Tom, you walked out on me because I was too ambitious. And now you're looking to work here? Do you see the irony?" He went silent, his face red. I could see him clenching his jaw, but I wasn't about to back down. After a long pause, he forced a smile. "I know I messed up. I'm just asking for a chance." I leaned back, coldly assessing him. "I'll let you know. We have a lot of other candidates." With that, I ended the interview and watched as he left, visibly deflated. I thought that would be the end of it. But a week later, he sent me an email. It was bold, borderline demanding. "Lily, I know I'm qualified for this job. After everything we've been through, you owe me a fair chance. Please reconsider." I stared at the email, almost in disbelief at his entitlement. I responded professionally, reiterating that he wasn't the right fit for the role. Then things started to get strange. Act 1. Rumors and Sabotage. A few days after I'd turned him down, I got a call from one of our clients, saying they'd heard things about my company. Apparently, someone had told them we had high turnover and treated employees poorly. It didn't take long for me to trace the rumors back to Tom. He'd been contacting people in my network trying to tarnish my reputation. He thought he could pressure me into giving him the job by spreading lies about my company. I shot him a pointed email. "Tom, I know you're the one spreading rumors. If you continue, I will pursue legal action. This is your only warning." He didn't respond directly, but I could tell he'd gotten the message. Or so I thought. Act 2. Showing up uninvited. The following week, Tom showed up at the office without an appointment. He walked right past the receptionist, barged into my workspace, and started talking as if he owned the place. "Lily, I don't understand why you're being so stubborn. We have history, and you know I can do the job. You're just letting your pride get in the way." I was stunned by his audacity. My team was watching, and I could see the confusion on their faces as he ranted about how he deserved a second chance. I kept my composure and replied, calmly, "Tom, you're trespassing. This is inappropriate and unprofessional. Leave now or I'll have security escort you out." He scoffed, shaking his head. "So that's it? You're just gonna act like I'm nothing?" I met his gaze, unflinching. "Yes, Tom, I am. Now get out." He finally stormed out, leaving my team looking bewildered. I could feel their respect for me grow that day, knowing I didn't let anyone, even an ex, push me around. Fake applications. Just when I thought I'd seen the last of him, a resume landed in my inbox for another position we were hiring for. It had a different name, but the qualifications matched Tom's exactly. The cover letter was filled with excessive praise for me, calling me an inspirational leader. He'd even listed a degree he didn't have. I felt a mixture of anger and pity. He was so desperate, he'd resorted to lying. This time, I didn't even bother replying. I flagged the application as fraudulent, blocked his email, and informed HR to disregard any future applications from him. But he wasn't done yet. Act 4. The sympathy card. Out of nowhere, Tom tried one last desperate move. From a new email address, he sent me a long message, this time playing every sympathy card he could think of. "Lily, please. I have nowhere else to turn. I know I've made mistakes, but you're the only one who can help me now. I'm begging you, just one chance." I stared at the email, feeling a twinge of something. Maybe pity, maybe frustration. But I reminded myself of everything he'd done. The rumors, the attempts to barge into my office, the lies. He'd tried to ruin my reputation just to get his way. I knew that if I gave him even an inch, he'd keep pushing. So I didn't respond. Instead, I forwarded the email to my legal team, advising them to handle any further communication with him. They drafted a cease and desist letter, making it clear that if he contacted me again, we would take legal action. When he received the letter, he finally stopped. Epilogue. The whole ordeal left me with mixed feelings. Tom had shown his true colors, and while part of me felt a bit of pity, I was mostly relieved. Building my company had been hard, and I wasn't about to let anyone, especially an ex with a grudge, tear it down. I'd worked too hard for that. As I looked around the office, watching my team buzzing around, I felt a profound sense of pride. I hadn't just built a company, I'd built something I could stand by, something real and respected, and I knew I'd made the right decision. Ambition wasn't for everyone, but for me, it was everything. And if that meant leaving people like Tom in the dust, so be it. I was finally free to build the life I wanted, without anyone holding me back.